The longer you live, the
Okay,
more people you'll see pass away. But
this is E. Franklin Hawkins, and I'm sitting here with Beverly Jane
and sure,
Angel, and we are discussing present day situations in relationships with men and women. Currently, we are discussing the topic of uh, women admitting that they're afraid to die alone because they have no human connection, no animal connection, not even a great deal of friends. And they're lamenting this choice in their life because it is a choice. Now, in various different situations, a young woman has to decide what she wants to do, whether she wants to be single and alone and live in a perpetual hot girl summer, or does she want to cultivate a relationship with a man, get on his page, and ride that puppy home? Of course, that all depends on what that means to you. What you say, my dear?
mm,
I can't turn the camera like I would like to
yeah, that's fine.
because the rug is here.
Well, relationships. Is that
Hmm.
what we're talking about right now?
Yes, about young women afraid of
Be alone.
dying alone. Yes.
And I can't say, but I felt that way too. I thought maybe I'd be all by myself. Nobody would be around. No husband. I had children, but children were grown and gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you have relatives around, but they're not real close to you all the time. They got jobs and everything.
Right.
So I wasn't a senior citizen when I was retired. I was only 49. And
Uh,
so the fact that I had to be home and by myself, considering my health issues and stuff,
mm,
I didn't want to be in no nursing home
right.
because that's where other people are. But I don't want to be there. I want to be home, but I want to have some type of social life, some
Hmm.
type of social interacting. You know
Right.
what I mean? And so for these young women that they don't have they don't have pets, they don't have children, they don't have,
Mm,
they sound like they don't have any relatives nearby, and very few friends. So they rely on themselves. But I'm gonna tell you, relying on yourself only will make you sick,
that's could
make you
be.
stress more, gain weight, all that.
Well, it's not good, I believe, to isolate yourself from normal interactions.
Right.
You know.
But some people work. They work most most of their life. All they're doing is working and coming home and sleeping, eating
Mm,
and sleeping. They don't really, and depending on what shift they're on, if they're on a shift that's not like everybody else's, then they don't get to see people. You know what
right.
I mean? Unless they go to work.
Well, what would be your solution for a young woman, say between the ages of 24, 25, and let's just say 32, her prime childbearing years? What would you suggest for her to do in nowadays dating pool? You know, the one they keep talking about got diapers and poo and
Well,
whatnot.
first of all, as far as dating is concerned, you need to know what you want, and then you need to also know what you don't want,
Mm-hmm.
and notice the red flags. Now, nobody's perfect,
Mm-hmm.
but I say some people are real picky, and I heard these young people have these lists. A list. I want a man that's this, that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not normal. People are people. You know what I mean?
Well, you think it's because they really don't know what a good man looks like, or don't like one? Because
They don't.
I heard the
They.
stories about, oh, he's a geek or he's a nerd, or you mean he
But
goes to work and comes home every day and don't go hang out? He don't go
and
to
I
the
think that's
clubs. He don't hang out at the
so.
bar.
So so what has happened
Ew, he's boring.
over time? People's morals and all that stuff has changed, or gone, whatever.
What the young men is worried about is during that time span, she gonna entertain a lot of, let's just say, extracurricular participants. In which case, she might not be as desirable as she once was before all of that activity. So my advice is to like settle for a good man when you're young enough to enjoy having a relationship. So in the event, because nothing's guaranteed, in the event of something should happen, at least you've had that connection. And if there's children and family else involved, you'll still be in a connected type existence. But if it's just you, anything happen to you, unless you have close family, nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
What
Nobody
happened.
check on you. Nothing. Nothing.
I remember a story about a gentleman around my age that pushed all his family and friends away. He was a straight up curmudgeon, a hermit. And he, I guess, expressed the dislike of people, and he received that back. People disliked him. And he passed away. I don't know whether it was a heart attack. I think it was a heart attack. And 7 days later, the mailman found him. Okay? And he had nobody there to care. I believe they gave him what's known as a pauper's funeral, which means they put him in a pine box, which may not even be pine nowadays, might even be balsa wood, and put him in the pauper's graveyard they got. Every town got a pauper's graveyard because they charging big money for this legitimate graves. So if you like alcoholic and die without insurance and no family or something, they gonna put you in the pauper's graveyard.
That's what my job used to do. There
But-
was one out back,
Yeah.
out the back of the place. Well, not directly back of it, but in the vicinity.
Close enough to see the ghosts?
Close enough where when we pass it, we know what it was. But I, for the young people, first of all, I would say learn to love yourself first, and then learn to love other people. If you can't do it all, do it slowly.
Well,
Maybe it's just one or a few people, close people.
well,
That's it.
we have to go a little bit further back. There's a reason why white supremacy has made an issue of removing the black man from the home.
And that was what
I
to
believe
break
that
down the
was
family.
in order to,
Black
yes,
family.
weaken and break the family, but also have access to the women and children without a fight. Because if the woman is taking public assistance and all kind of services from the government, she's looking at the man in a certain kind of way. Now, some men, especially like my father's generation, my generation, we would not allow our family to be on public assistance or receive government aid in any form. My father brought me home from the hospital to a house that he owned. We're sitting in one that I own.
A lot of times, the times have changed. People's thought processes changed, and we come from a generation where we had two parents in the home.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling, like Andy, I was like telling her, I said, May's being torn between your house and wherever her dad is.
Mm-hmm.
That's not normal. She's gonna have a hard time because she's not gonna be settled because she's so busy. She's over here,
Moving
she's
and
over
back
here,
and forth,
she's over
yeah,
here, she's over here.
yeah.
And she can't.
It's not good for the
And
development at
she
all.
At home, she has to act a certain way. Around her dad, she has to act a certain way.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody's rules are different. You know what I mean? So.
Well, some children haven't adjusted to co-parenting. I don't know
Yeah,
how well, but
co-parenting.
they have. But in any case,
But you don't. What's the long term effect? That's what I don't know.
well, I imagine it's neuroticism due to the never feeling stably in one place.
Right.
However, that's not everybody all the time. I mean, for some people, some children especially, if they get to an environment that they really enjoy being in, that will be their solace.
I'm gonna tell you for myself. Yeah, I do. I need moments of solitude
Mm-hmm.
so I can think instead of just constantly do. I have to have moments of solitude. I don't care if it's in the bathroom,
Right.
but I have to have moments of solitude because that's how I get myself together. I can't get myself together if I'm running here doing this and never paying attention and always around everybody all the time. And I can't focus on myself. So when I have moments of solitude, and it might be in the bathroom, in the shower, or whatever, but I have to have that. But I also know that I'm not a socialite, but I can be sociable. You know what I mean? I don't mind going places, being around people for a while, but then when it's time, as I got older, I noticed I don't want to be around a whole lot of people all the time. And then with my immune system, as compromised as it is still, you don't want to be around everybody anyway, because you easily get sick.
I've enjoyed having a lot of company, so to speak. In my last domicile, I remember during the height of the 19 pandemic, I was having like 25 people a day coming by my house. I'm even relatively sure that I had contracted it because the level of that my immune system is in immediately attacks any foreign pathogen, and it had me spewing mucus for like 3 weeks straight. So if it wasn't 19, it was a close goddamn cousin. But be that as it may, that still didn't stop the flow of traffic. I had a lot of friends, people who know me and met me and wanted to hang with me and do things with me. And also as a writer, I like to have people give me, I guess you could say, viewpoints on their life. And when I'm crafting my characters, I can access some of those viewpoints and more develop a cohesive character that will, I guess you could say, interact more in depth with the reader. In any case, at this present time, we've been discussing a topic concerning a lot of people, younger people nowadays, with the amount of loneliness that's being engendered by, I call it the love wars. The men are afraid to approach the women. They are not willing to be used for ATM purposes. They're not interested in high-end restaurants or the bills that come with it. They don't want to put up with the headaches of all of a sudden being labeled by something and put on the universe. Because basically once it goes on the internet, everybody, even the aliens, gonna see that shit. So you can't hide. That's what's so bad about the lonely scams girls. Because they putting their whole bodies and their lives out there on the internet for everybody to hold up in their face later. Because that's usually what happens. But you have to think about what your future is and what you want it to become before you make certain decisions. For example, if you're a pretty decent looking young woman, carry yourself decently, not like you dressing from Magic City, and a young man approach you, you're respectful, pleasant, polite. If you bite his head off, what you're doing is cutting down your chances of ever actually having a significant relationship. Take your time when you're approached by a man and find out something about him. Is he the type of man you want to mess with? Now, for people of my generation, it really didn't take that long for us to talk to you to figure out you wasn't one. And we would give you a whole bunch of chances. But if you ain't the one, I found you ain't the one. Ain't no sense trying to beat a dead horse. But when you do find that one, first off, time will fly by as if it did not happen. It will be like you've known them your entire life. They like the music you like. They like the food you like, including the foods you make. They like the loving that you give them. They like how you handle other people and the situations that they come in contact with. It's a whole lot that has to be in synchronization for it to be the right people.
Well, to be liked, you got to be likable.
That's true.
You, as people see, you got a wall there. They ain't gonna cross it. Some will, but a lot of them, they see the wall there. You know, they get the vibe from you. Nah, don't approach this one. Don't approach that one.
And first off, you also have to love yourself.
Right? That's what I said earlier.
So if I love myself and you come to me and you throw me a compliment like, oh, I like the way your hair is braided, or I like the jacket you got on, I'm supposed to say, oh, thank you very much, with a smile.
Supposed to.
You understand? Appreciative of someone giving me a compliment.
Right.
It's only common courtesy. But see, back in the day, we was used to approaching people and people approaching us. So we didn't have that, ooh, I hate you as soon as I see you type shit going on. Most people gave a person a chance to find out what the game was before they decided which way to play.
Right.
I don't know what the hell y'all doing nowadays. But in any case, it looks like the results are going to be a lonely pet owner. As a matter of fact, I've got my stockbroker investing in pet food as we speak. Because I'm pretty sure with the large number of single, alone people that, you know, they're going to need to feed their pets. Are you failing me? Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Do you actually think that these young people are going to wake up in time to realize that two heads are better than one?
They slowly finding it out. They slowly finding out that two heads are better than one. They really are, because as a female, I know I can't do men's stuff. I can do some stuff, but I can't do a lot of stuff that men do. A man can work on the car, a man can do pull out trash cans. I can do that too, but the man has the upper body strength I don't have. You know what I mean?
And it's less of a travail, which is French, for a man to do it. In other words, it's less work for him to do it because he has more muscular strength. So the same amount of effort that I put in to lifting up a garbage can is double the effort for her. Right? But be that as it may, this earth and the taming and conquering of the wilderness was what men do. And we didn't just do it for us. Yeah, we like to sleep in a nice bed and have a roof over our head and drive a nice car and all of that. But we basically built life to take care of families, women and children. And we even threw some dogs in there, cats and shit. This is not supposed to be a one person's drill. Takes two to tango is an entire song. We people who know that you're supposed to have someone in your life also recognize the benefits of it. So say your rent is $1,500 a month for a little small ass one bedroom. and you hook up with somebody who's also paying $1,500 a month for a small one bedroom. So y'all decide to get a 2-bedroom together and only have to pay $1,800 a month. So that saves almost one whole rent payment, which can make your lives a little easier since there would be more capital to be able to invest in whatever it may be. So this life here in the wilderness of North America is designed for 2 people. Originally, one person's salary or income could handle a family of 4, but not anymore. 2 salaries have been required now for nigh on to 30 years. So trying to make this a one-woman show is not going to work out all the time. Unless you're a big star, you know, you're making all kinds of bank. Yeah, you can afford your shit. But you still alone.
Mm-hmm.
You still don't have nobody to share it with. One of the things men with money like to do is to be able to share it with someone. Usually someone attractive and good conversationalist and could whip up a meal when they want to. Look good in their dress clothes. Men really don't require a whole lot from a woman. She just got to be a feminine woman. Because see, when a woman is masculine, the man sees her as masculine, and we not loving no more, we fighting. Every motherfucking thing, I'm expecting you to fight. If you start fighting, we gonna be fighting. That's not a good basis for a relationship. One of y'all gotta be yin, and one of y'all gotta be yang. And I believe a lot of y'all females haven't figured out which one y'all wanna be yet. But one of them motherfuckers gonna have your ass ending up all alone. So yo, take heed from an old white beard. Life is better together. All right, we checking out.